Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to spend with me and learn about movies. My goal here is to give you the heads up on movie quality and content so you can make the best decision for yourself and your family as to whether or not you want to spend your time, money, or both watching a specific movie. So, the specific movie I'm reviewing today is Born a Champion. This movie releases January 22nd in select theaters, which I know is very vague. If theaters are open in your area or not, I don't know. So the movie may or may not be in your area, but it is also available on video on demand January 22nd. It will be available on Blu-ray and DVD on January 26th. So you're not going to have to wait very long. The movie is rated R. It's an hour and 52 minutes. And the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is a B plus. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell. I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as give you tips for parents, recommendations for other movies that I think you might also like if you like this one, and even some themes that are worth talking about if you want to continue the conversation afterwards, either down below in the comments or with your friends or whomever you watch the movie with. All right, so in a quick nutshell, Lionsgate and Grindstone Entertainment present another inspiring sports movie that really has a lot of heart. It's a fictional story about Mickey Kelly, who is said to be one of the very first American black belts in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, that style, who gets pulled away from everything he loves and gets into an unsanctioned MMA tournament to prove his worth after a series of events. It's also a bit of a romance and a family type of movie. However, it is rated R. I'll give you more tips for parents on that in just a second. But it's designed to almost feel like a documentary about a real person with this comeback story told in chronological order and narrated by Taco, who's played by Maurice Comte. And I really thought that that was just kind of a fun way to tell the story. Unlike the Nicolas Cage movie entitled Jiu-Jitsu, this movie actually features a lot of legit MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fights. So if you're into that, I think that you'll be happy with what you see. Now, let me give you the tips for parents because comeback sports movies are often very family friendly. But as I mentioned, this one is rated R, mostly for profanity and lots of F bombs. There's talk of prostitution, although you don't see anything. You do see some man standing at urinals in a public bathroom. And probably the most alarming is you see a very close up shot of a man who gets very badly injured during a fight. So it's gory and bloody and alarming. You also see some other blood in fights in the ring and talk of death and that kind of thing. So, positive themes worth talking about are honor, redemption, second chances, courage, hope, love, the power of social media, friendship, and just the determination to prove your worth. Now, there were a lot of things that I really liked about the movie. So, first of all, Emmy Award winning Sean Patrick Flannery stars in the movie, as well as lends his writing hand to the script that he personally wrote with director Alex Rivello. Sean Patrick Flannery is actually a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And so that really lends an authentic flavor to the movie. It's not just some movie that he wrote or wanted to star in, that this really is a passion project for him. And you feel that in the movie. And I really respect that. He earned his black belt under Ricardo Frangina Miller. So I love that. I actually have a black belt that I earned in Taekwondo many, many years ago, and I haven't kept it up. Unlike him, he has been involved in this sports field for most of his life. And again, you feel that passion for the sport throughout the movie. I've watched several interviews with Sean Patrick Flanery, and I'm super impressed with his passion and dedication to fitness and mental discipline. He recognizes that those two are intertwined and both extremely important, especially if you want to see success in any sports discipline. He said that when he was writing this movie that he tried to include everything that was important to him in his life. And he said it's really a personal love letter to family, legacy, and jiu-jitsu. And so I thought that that was super sweet. Now, next on the list, who doesn't love Golden Globe nominee Dennis Quaid? He did a great job. Now, he's been in a lot of softer, gentler movies in recent years. And in this movie, he plays a tough guy, but he does have a soft heart. And he's a very likable character. The love interest in the movie is played by Katrina Bowden, and I thought she did a lovely job. And I just wanted to be her friend. Being a stay-at-home mom has been looked down on recent years. And so I really loved that her character boldly claims that that's what she wants to do in her life because it's such an important job. And so I just applauded her acting as well as this character and her character's choices in life. The shots that represent Dubai were actually filmed in Morocco. The fight tent in Dubai was actually built inside a gym at Tumales High School in California. And the very first time we see Mickey in the movie teaching a student, it's with an actual student at that high school where they shot the scenes in Petaluma, California. So there was a student who went to school one day, not realizing that the building was closed due to filming. And so the director saw him and welcomed him in, and he ended up in the movie. So I thought that that was pretty fun. And speaking of kids, there are two adorable boys who play a son named Kid, spelled K-Y-D, which is kind of a weird name for a kid. But anyway, they're actually played by Sean Patrick Flanery's real kids, whose names are Porter Lewis Flanery and Charlie T. Flanery. And in an interview, he said that it was really important to him that his real life children learned self-discipline, although he readily admits that he did not force them to compete in tournaments or anything like that, but just that he felt like those were really important life skills, just like knowing how to swim, to be able to save your life and just to have that lifelong skill that you'll use for the rest of your life. And so I thought that that was actually a really good point that he made. I took Taekwondo lessons with my kids, and some of them went on to gain black belts and some of them just weren't that interested, but at least I thought that it was important to expose them to some self-defense technique so that they really could protect themselves. And I'm proud to say they were never beat up as little kids and bullied, because I think part of having the technical skills is also having the confidence that you carry yourself, knowing that you can defend yourself. And I think other kids see that and recognize that. And by the way, speaking of all of these skills, believe it or not, no stunt doubles were used in any of the fight scenes or sparring scenes. And that's one thing that I really liked, is it just really lended to that genuine love of the sport, because there are authentic people, there are real athletes who love this sport in the movie. And in fact, there are some cameo performances by real MMA fighters, Renzo Gracie, Mickey Gall, and Edson Barboza. So again, if you are a fan of MMA, you're going to recognize them and just get a kick out of their being in this movie. Something happens in the movie that is very bad. And so one of the characters gets very angry with God and has a conversation with another guy about that. And so there's a little bit of character development as to his relationship with God, as well as with his best friend. And I appreciated that some time was spent on that relationship. Now, it's not a religious movie, especially with all of the F-bombs, but I appreciate appreciated that element of the story. There's a nice music soundtrack by Austin Wintory, and the movie looks kind of like a low budget film, but I think the story is compelling enough that I honestly didn't care. And finally, keep watching during the rolling credits at the end of the movie for another cute scene I thought was very sweet. There were also some things I didn't like about the movie. So let me tell you some of those. First of all, there are a lot of scenes in the trailer that don't actually show up in the final movie. I saw the movie first and then watched the trailer and thought, wait a minute, did I watch the same movie because of that? Now, if you're excited to watch the fight scenes in the movie, you might be a tiny bit disappointed because they're really short, but it's mostly because Mickey Kelly throws down his opponent so quickly because he was that good. There's not that much humor to balance out all of the drama and the action. And I always appreciate a little bit of humor just to add some flavor. There's a short conversation between Mickey Kelly and another character. Now, no spoiler, I don't want to give it away, but there's a side story that's shared, and that's alluded to in the trailer, but not much comes of it in the actual movie. And I would have liked to have explored more of that. And then finally, as a triumphant sports movie, this movie is very predictable, very cliched, with lots of sports comeback movie tropes. But that's okay. We've seen a million movies like that and we still really enjoy them, right? So that's what you're going to get in this movie as well. I always write down funny lines or inspiring lines while I'm watching a movie, and I include them in my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So you can go over there and check out some of those. But one of them that I thought was kind of interesting was one spoken by Mickey Kelly, played by Sean Patrick Flannery. And he says, everyone needs a little meritocracy in their lives. And I thought, wow, first of all, that's a big word for a sports movie. But I thought that's such a great point, and he really believed that there are things that we need to do in life to show who we are. We can talk about how great we are, but we've got to actually get some discipline, take some action, and work hard for the success that we want. All right, now before I go, let me give you some recommendations for other movies that I think that you'll really enjoy if you like this movie. The first one that instantly came to my mind was Million Dollar Baby with Hilary Swank. It was great. It's an award-winning movie. If you haven't seen it, put it on your watch list. Another one is Creed. Now, that's sort of the most recent spin-off of the Rocky movies that are classics and still a fantastic watch to this very day with Sylvester Stallone. So I really like the Creed part of the continuing saga of the Rocky movies. So I recommend those. I think there are two of them now. And then another movie, if you just want some fight scenes and some action, is a movie called Embattled. All right, that is it for my review today. I hope that you enjoy this movie if you watch it, and I hope it inspires you to, first of all, get out and get some exercise, and to be disciplined, to take care of your body, and to really shoot for your dreams. Thank you for subscribing. It is free to support me by just simply liking, commenting, and subscribing to my little channel, and I really do appreciate that. And then a big thank you also to those of you who are going over to my Patreon account and supporting me there. Thank you so much for your time and interest, and I will catch you in the next movie review. Have a great day. Bye for now.